Hey everybody, welcome to No Bones About Wrestling. I'm your host Asa, and I'm here with Kay Fabulous.
Hey.
And this is your AEW Collision wrap-up recap show. It was July 29th, 2023, and they were live in Hartford, Connecticut. And the show, it started off, as always, with these quick little 1 or 2 sentence promos. We got one from Darby Allin. We got one from MJF and Adam Cole. Of course, they have their World Tag Team title match coming up later tonight. And then we got one from FTR, the defending champions, in that World Tag Team title match coming up later tonight. And then we get Elton John's Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting and the opening intro graphics and all that stuff and all the fanfare to start the show. And it turns out up first, now this show had a stacked lineup. We've got ladder match, Buddy Matthews versus Andrade El Idolo, to determine who is going to possess Andrade's mask. What else have we got that they announced? We have Darby Allin versus a mystery challenger. I won't spoil. We have a non-title match, Samoa Joe versus Gravity. We have Juice Robinson and the Guns against AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo, Darius Martin and Action Andretti in a trios match there. We have Cara Hogan versus Mercedes Martinez. And then we have FTR defending the World Tag Titles against MJF and Adam Cole. Stacked lineup.
Yeah, awesome.
Stacked lineup. So let's get to it here. Buddy Matthews comes out with Julia Hart. They, of course, are representing the House of Black. Buddy is 1/3 of your World Trios champions. And Andrade El Idolo comes out. We get a video package about how we've reached this point. Basically, Buddy stole Andrade's mask, and they've just been acting like dicks, basically, the House of Black.
Correct.
This mask means a lot to Andrade, and I'm not sure why the House of Black picked Andrade. They never really revealed that. As someone they were,
Well, the very first episode of Collision, Buddy Matthews and Andrade had a match in which Andrade won, so I think maybe that defeat is what kind of fueled the fire of contempt towards Andrade.
Just revenge. Yeah, and the House of Black, they don't lose a lot, so it could be just that one loss. Yeah, good call. The two men, they start by exchanging some chops. And the crowd, of course, greets them with woo, the Ric Flair woo. It's everywhere. I love it. It's a wrestling tradition. Andrade hits a moonsault off the ladder while on the outside of the ring. Buddy Matthews is thrown into a ladder in the ring's corner by Andrade. Buddy uses a ladder as a battering ram to knock Andrade off the ring apron. Andrade spears Buddy Matthews through the ropes onto a ladder, and the ladder did not give at all. It looked a pretty rough fall for the two men. Andrade gets a spinning back elbow, and then the two men exchange some hard forearm shots atop a ladder. Andrade then hits a sunset bomb off a ladder onto a ladder that's set up perpendicular to that one, set up, across the ropes and across that ladder, hits a sunset bomb off of it. I mean, just brutal looking fall for the two men, a brutal looking move put on by Andrade. Matthews hits Andrade with a high knee shot. It's at this point that Matthews breaks out some handcuffs that he brought with him, apparently, which begs the question, why not?
Julia Hart gave them to him.
Okay, they brought. The House of Black brought. Which begs the question, why not use them right away? But, whatever.
Maybe he wanted to see if he could defeat him cleanly. like for real. And then when he realized he didn't have a chance, or it wasn't a sure thing, then the handcuffs came out.
I don't know. But Matthews handcuffs Andrade to the turnbuckle post. He brings around a chair, and Andrade kicks the chair into Matthews' face. It's pretty funny to me. Andrade, eventually he escapes and handcuffs Buddy Matthews in his place. Handcuffs Buddy to the ring post. Andrade then proceeds to throw the handcuff key into the audience, so it's lost forever. Someone has the handcuff key somewhere in Hartford, Connecticut today. Andrade climbs the ladder. Julia Hart starts climbing the ladder. She grabs Andrade, on the back, and Andrade climbs with Julia Hart hanging on his back.
Yeah, it was like a piggyback ride, kind of. While she was trying to choke him out, though.
Yeah, unbelievable. Outside the ring, Matthews escapes with the aid of bolt cutters that Julia Hart had brought out. So Matthews escapes from the handcuff. And it's at this moment Andrade... Julia had gotten off of Andrade, and Andrade is scaling one side of the ladder. Julia is scaling the other side of the ladder, trying to attempt to stop Andrade from grabbing the mask. So it's at this point Andrade pushes Julia Hart off of, and they're fighting at the top of the ladder. Andrade and Julia are. So Andrade pushes Julia Hart off of the ladder into Buddy Matthews. Both of them go through a table that's set up in the corner of the ring. Andrade grabs his mask and wins the match, wins his mask back. Very, very cool way to start the show. I gave it 4.5 bones out of 5. Very exciting match. Great ladder match. Kay, what do you have to add about this one?
Just two things. You covered it really well. There's just two things I had that I don't think you mentioned. Pretty much like one of the first moves of the match was Andrade moonsaulting off the top of this like giant ladder onto Buddy Matthews. It was like the first sort of big high spot. And then Andrade used a ladder in a very interesting way. He put it through, I believe, between the bottom and middle rope. Like he was going to ram Matthews with it, and Matthews grabbed it. So Andrade jumped on the end of the ladder that was still in the ring, and almost like a seesaw. Like the ropes acted like the fulcrum and the lever, and it just smacked Matthews right in the face. And I thought that was a very clever use of a ladder that I had not seen before. Yeah, this match was excellent. I'm very glad Andrade has a super awesome mask back. I was worried for him. But especially with Julia Hart out there, knowing that she was going to interfere in some ways. They made a really big deal about her being like a certified manager or what was it? Was it certified? They used some term.
Well, there have been times in wrestling history where they will start claiming that managers need to be certified, or managers need to have a license. He or she has a manager's license. He or she does not have a manager's license and should not be at ringside.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah. Because they used it to explain why the other members of House of Black weren't there. Because they were like, they're not allowed to be there, but she's allowed to be there because she has a manager's license.
And before, there's been some other reason she's allowed to be there. Why? Because it's been different in the past.
Well, I feel like they just haven't given an explanation in the past. That past is just like, she can be there.
They've given just different explanations.
I see.
Yeah. All right. So next we had a Miro promo in the back, and if it's a promo in the back, you know what that means. It gets interrupted by someone, and he is attacked by Aaron Solo. And the two men fight and knock over some stuff, and believe it or not, if Miro has a match with Aaron Solo will be the highest quality talent Miro has faced since his return from injury, right? Wouldn't he be?
Didn't he face Anthony Henry? I feel like Anthony Henry is better than Aaron Solo. I guess he's an ROH guy, though.
No.
Yeah, I guess Aaron Solo would be the highest. This seemed really random to me.
Yeah.
Like, why is Aaron Solo attacking Miro? I hope we get some sort of story and explanation, and not just a match, you know?
I think we will. I think we will. Part of something larger. Of course, Aaron Solo is one of, the QTV guys.
Yeah.
So does this involve QTV, QT Marshall, or is Aaron Solo just going out for himself?
I assumed that it involved...
Nobody else was with...
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. I assumed it involved QTV, though.
Yeah, so
I thought maybe it was setting up Hobbs and Miro, but Hobbs isn't part of QTV anymore, right? Or is he still with them?
It's not clear.
Okay.
Right now. I don't think it'll be clear until we see them again.
Because I'd like
Hobbs
to see
and
Miro
QTV.
face, like, a real person, like a real higher caliber wrestler, or more frequently featured wrestler, I guess.
Yeah. And Hobbs would be good. Big Bill would be good. Brian Cage would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, anybody would be better than the squash matches that he's been having,
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Just a real wrestler. Quote unquote real wrestler. And not a jobber.
I don't like calling them real. We gotta come up with a different term. That's insulting to the jobbers. They're real wrestlers, too.
Yeah. Well, I call them not real just because no one cares about them.
I care about them.
If a jobber falls in the forest and no one hears it, does anyone care? No.
That makes no sense.
No. Well, neither does putting on a squash match every week on one of your big shows. So
that's true.
See? Up next, Darby Allin comes out. He, earlier in his little promo when the show started, said something along the lines of, he wants a match tonight. He wanted to come out and get a match. And he comes out, and then his opponent comes out, and it is Minoru Suzuki. So I think he got a little more than he bargained for.
Yeah.
Did Darby Allin. But the match is made official, and they get going. Darby does a cannonball through the ropes to the outside to get things started. Always putting his body on the line for pops. Darby's pretty reckless sometimes, and this was, I guess in a good way. Bad for him, good for us as fans.
And not in an unsafe way to his opponent.
No, I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
I just meant reckless. I just meant reckless to his own safety.
Yeah.
But does a cannonball through the ropes to the outside. Nails Suzuki. He grabs a chair on the outside of the ring. He sits Suzuki down in it, and then Allin runs along the ring apron and then delivers a shotgun drop kick, knocking Suzuki down and out of the chair. That was a pretty cool spot, too. Back in the ring, Suzuki starts unwrapping Darby's injured ribs, or he has a tape over his ribs / lower back.
I think it's worth mentioning first that before he starts unwrapping him, this is when the bell rings.
Right.
Because the match hadn't actually started.
Yeah, when they get in the ring, that's when the bell begins. That's when the match begins, rather. So At one point, Suzuki has the medical tape, and he actually hangs Allen with the medical tape. Hangs him over the side of the ring. Pretty graphic view there, you know. Mm-hmm. Him hanging Darby with this medical tape, you know, that was a little frightening. Suzuki and Allen, they trade chops in the center of the ring. You know, Suzuki will nail Allen with one with all the force of, 5 men, and Allen will come back with a little pitiful one. And then he's ready for the next one. He's just kind of shaking his head like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? I got to take another one of these. So Allen was not up to the chop battle. But it didn't seem to much matter. He gets Suzuki down, and Allen then he hits the coffin drop, but as he's coming down, Suzuki kind of comes to. Suzuki grabs Allen as he makes contact with a coffin drop. He grabs him into a rear chokehold, and it looks like Suzuki has Darby's number, but Darby uses his weight. He turns his body over to get Suzuki's shoulders to the mat and gets a 1, 2, 3 count, and Darby escapes with a win. Pretty interesting match. Was not expecting to see Darby Allin versus Minoru Suzuki last night, so that was pretty cool. 4 bones out of 5. Nice performance by both men. Kay, what do you have to say about this one?
Yeah, this was a really fun, like you said, surprising match. I did not expect Suzuki to be his opponent, so that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I like Suzuki.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Darby started off like pretty vicious. I was wondering your thoughts. So Darby's a face, right? Mm-hmm. But he's attacking someone before the bell pretty viciously. He's biting them. He's setting them in chairs, knocking them out of the chairs. Is this a face-like way to start a match? Or is it just supposed to show that he's, so itching for a fight that he can't wait to get his hands on whatever opponent there is? Because it seems kind of like a dick heel move to do that, you know?
The second option, it's supposed to show he's ready and rearing for a fight, you know? And he's ready to go.
Okay, so it's not supposed to seem underhanded at all?
No. Because it's also something Suzuki would have done given the chance on Darby Allin. No question.
That's definitely true, yeah.
So, no, I don't think there was anything heelish to it at all.
Yeah, I mean...
Is it something I would... If I were a booker, is it something I would have my baby faces doing? No. But... I'm not a booker, so. Yeah. But if you would like me to book your company, you can contact me at No Bones Wrestling on Twitter.
Yeah, you covered pretty much everything I had written down, other than the question about attacking before the bell and just the sheer viciousness of Darby going into this fight. He also at one point did a modified coffin drop off the middle rope. And I thought that was cool. I don't know if I'd seen him do a modified one before. Yeah, it was a good match.
How was it modified, do you know?
Because they did it off the middle rope instead of the top rope. They called it a modified.
Oh, okay.
It might have even been the bottom rope, but I think it was the middle rope.
Okay. After Darby's victory, Christian and TNT champion Luchasaurus appear on the big screen, and basically it's just Christian telling Darby that he's not ready for a title shot yet. So it looks like we may have a Luchasaurus versus Darby. Luchasaurus / Christian versus Darby coming down the pike here.
Which is, Scorpio Sky's injured.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, I was going to say, which is weird because Scorpio Sky has been eyeballing them, but he's injured, so he can't eyeball them anymore. Okay. Never mind then. I was going to say it's strange to have two people going after the same belt at the same time.
We then have a very short Women's World Champion Toni Storm cuts a promo on Hikaru Shida. It's like a pre-taped promo with some highlights of things, highlights from matches and things, and it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. Should have been longer, but it was pretty good. Nice to see them give the women a little something. We got one match, and we got this little promo, so that was something.
I feel like both things help progress the stories, though, and establish a story.
And Toni Storm, there was a good line in the promo. She told Hikaru Shida, she said to keep her kendo stick because she's going to need it just to get around when Storm is done with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good.
So that was pretty funny.
I thought this was a pretty great promo.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Up next, we have a non-title match. Ring of Honor World Television Champion Samoa Joe, who has held that belt for over a year. He is defending it. Excuse me, he is not defending it. He's facing Gravity, who has quickly become one of my favorites. Just seen him in 2 matches. This will be the 3rd, but I like this guy a lot. Gravity. Mm-hmm. He was a soccer player, and I think the professional soccer scene did not work out for him. And his brother is Bandito, mm-hmm. who is awesome.
Yes.
And Bandito said, here, come try wrestling. It's awesome. And he tried it and loved it, and here he is in AEW on national television.
Yeah, and he's good at it.
Yeah, he's very good at it.
And he's got a really cool mask.
Yeah, and he's been in Ring of Honor, too. You can catch him there as well. So very early on, Gravity hit a Hurricane Rana and got Joe down, and that got my hopes up. I thought, we were going to see a pretty cool match here. See some very different styles. Samoa Joe, kind of a strong style, we'll call him. And Gravity, who's very much a high flyer style. I thought we were going to see a nice clash, but we didn't see much of anything. Gravity goes for a move off the top. This was pretty funny, but Samoa Joe just moonwalks out of the way. If you've seen Gravity, he'll hit a move, and when his opponent is down for a bit, he'll start walking as though he's on the moon. He'll start walking as though there's less gravity on him. Yeah, and kind of in slow motion.
So a real moonwalk, not a Michael Jackson style moonwalk.
Right. Yeah. Yes, a real as though an astronaut. When you see them walking on the moon, he'll start doing that kind of walk. But that's what Joe does. Is, he just steps out of the way of this top rope move by moonwalking out of the way and continues to. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Joe grabbed Gravity for a package shoulder slam. Nailed it. Got the pin and the win. This was a squash match. I don't rate squash matches. Joe celebrates with his belt. And that was the end of it. What could have been a very interesting matchup was just a squash. And that's a damn shame. Alright, so next, CM Punk comes out with his red bag. This is, of course, CM Punk and Friends, so it wouldn't be right that we have the show without CM Punk. I think this is the longest we've gone in an episode of CM Punk and Friends without seeing or hearing from him. Mm-hmm. So kind of strange.
Yeah, because normally he has at least one sentence promo at the beginning. Because typically he has a match.
Right. And they'll give him one of those one sentence promos at the beginning, right? So he comes out with his red bag, and he is the first wrestler to mention Wembley, and he points this out. And as of, right now, we're recording this on July 30th. Wembley, the show is 4 weeks from today. They have no matches.
Announced.
No matches announced. Yeah, which is important. In the what has become one of the biggest shows in the history of American wrestling. Maybe the biggest show if you're looking at gate receipts and things. And by American wrestling, I mean American companies. Of course, the show is in London, England, but it's an American company putting it on. But yeah, I mean, they're going to make a ton. It's going to be one of the top shows ever in terms of money grossed. So it's a big deal. It's going to be a historical show where people look back at it, at least decades later, probably centuries later. We'll see. Who knows? We'll probably be in giant sporting arenas, in a couple decades. Who knows what the future holds? But my point is, for now at least, it's a big show. It's a big deal. They don't have any matches, and CM Punk kind of mentions that, and makes a point of that. Anyways, so he starts to talk about his red bag, and he says what's in the bag has a lot to do with Ricky Starks. And CM Punk takes out what is in the bag, and it is, of course, his AEW World Title belt. And he never was pinned for the belt, never submitted. Of course, he had to vacate it due to injury. That's how, wrestling works. That's how combat sports work. You're injured, you can't defend your title. You must forfeit it. So, we know, really, he is not the rightful AEW champion.
He is in my heart.
Because he couldn't, it's unfortunate, but he could not defend his belt, so he lost it. It was vacated, and we had to move on. But he claims he's the real world champion, and so he pulls out this belt, and he starts talking about Ricky Starks again, and says Ricky Starks cheated his way to 2 wins over him. We're, of course, talking about one in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament final, and another, what was the second one?
It was a tag match.
A tag match.
With Punk and Darby Allin versus Ricky Stark and Ricky Stark's partner, whose name I don't remember. Do you remember who he wrestled?
No, that's what I was asking you.
Starks and Christian versus Punk and Darby.
Thank you. Yeah, where Ricky Starks cheated twice to beat Punk. So CM Punk said that if Ricky Starks is getting a title shot, he needs more eyes on the match. Tony Schiavone, and what he means by that is, he needs people looking out for him. Punk does, because he doesn't want Ricky Starks cheating again. So he says that there's a special guest referee, and CM Punk gets Tony Schiavone to announce the special guest referee for this match, and it is Ricky the motherfucking Dragon Steamboat. That is pretty big. That's pretty awesome. I popped at home. That's for sure.
I did too.
Yeah. So we've got CM Punk versus Ricky Starks for the, quote, real world title, with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as a special guest referee. And that is, when is that match?
I think it's on next week's Collision.
It is next week on Collision.
We missed it by 1 week.
Yeah, on August 5th. Oh, that's the Collision airing opposite SummerSlam. I see what they're doing.
They're making it too hot to miss.
I see what they're doing. Well,
can I ask a question about this?
Yeah.
So CM Punk says he wants more eyes Because of Ricky's cheating?
Yeah.
So is it going to be Ricky Steamboat plus another referee?
That's the way it came off. Yes.
Okay.
There'll be one referee, and then Ricky Steamboat will be maybe on the outside, keeping an eye on things.
Okay.
As a second referee.
Okay.
Correct. That's the way it came off to me. They didn't say.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it came off to me.
Okay.
We'll find out next Saturday. But yeah, so they're definitely programming for, anti-SummerSlam, but we will be watching SummerSlam.
So next week's Collision...
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Well, we're doing a watch-along for SummerSlam. On the last week in wrestling, we told them we were coming and we were dressing
That's
up.
true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, we'll be watching SummerSlam.
Yeah. So our Collision report next week might be a little bit later in the day than usual.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on next week. Yeah.
So just stay tuned to our Twitter for more information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, up next we have a trios match. I was looking forward to this one. We have Bullet Club Gold. It's everyone except Jay White, Juice Robinson, and the Guns taking on an awesome trios team. We have the AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo, Darius Martin, and Action Andretti. And Darius hits a high crossbody on Colton Gunn to start this match. At one point, Juice pushes Vikingo. Vikingo pushes him right back, showing, he's not going to be pushed around just because he's a smaller man. Mm-hmm. Robinson Irish whips Vikingo, who comes back with a corkscrew around the world head scissors, and then hits Robinson with a spinning kick. I tell you, Vikingo, every time I see him, he breaks out something new, one or two new moves that I've not seen. He's amazing. Amazing. Bullet Club Gold, they're on the outside of the ring, and they pull out a cardboard standee of Jay White. I don't know how it got under the ring, who put it there, or why. But they pull it out, and they're, taking pictures with it, or something.
They're, posing with it, yeah.
They're posing with it.
Juice Robinson is giving it little kisses on the cheek.
Yeah. It was bizarre.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was funny. That way he could be with them, even though he couldn't be with them.
I understand. I get it. I got the joke. I don't know.
You didn't care for it?
I didn't care for it because it drew attention away from the match, And I think I think the match, they should have been focusing on their opponents because they had great opponents, and I think drawing attention away from that does a disservice to everyone in the match, even the guys who are posing with the standee.
So if they'd had different opponents, then maybe?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yes. Colton Gunn hits a move called Uncle Slam and covers Vikingo for 2. Action Andretti gets tagged in. Andretti and Martin throw Vikingo as though he's in a cheerleader move. They throw him from the ring to the outside of the ring.
It's called a basket toss. A
basket toss, thank you. And he flies through the air to the outside of the ring onto Bullet Club Gold. And a minute or so later, the Gun Club, they come in, they hit the 310 to Yuma, that's their tag team finisher. They hit it on Darius Martin. They get the pin and the win. This was a very good match. I give it 4 bones out of 5.
4 bones out of 5.
4 bones out of 5.
This might be the lowest rated Vikingo match you've ever done.
It is. Well, he only got so many chances to shine in this trios match, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it was good. It was another good match on this card. What do you have to say about this one, Kay?
Well, one of my most important notes is that this match was too good to take the notes. So pretty much everything I had written down you've already covered, but I just want to highlight the corkscrew round the world head scissors by Vikingo on Juice.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. We rewound it and watched it probably 3 or 4 times because the move was so cool, and we were trying to decide what we wanted to call it.
It looked physically impossible. Like he came in the air at one angle, switches angles, like he turned in the air and then spins multiple times. I don't know where the momentum came from to do the spin.
So I think it's like the candy floss that Stardom wrestler does. You know what I'm talking about? The little like really small Japanese girl, and they spin her.
Yeah.
Like it's her partner. You told me
the partner's
creating the momentum.
Right. Yep.
So I think that's the same thing because it reminded me a little of the candy floss at the beginning.
But yeah, that was a crazy move. Mm-hmm. What else have you got about this match?
The only thing I wrote down that you didn't mention was that there were some double drop kicks by Action and Darius early on the Guns. Okay. But I think that the Guns and Juice make a great trio. Their entrance with the Guns' entrance with Juice added to it was fantastic. But also they work really well in the ring together. I think they could possibly be contenders for trios matches eventually.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that?
I
know you want Juice and
I think that's
White to have the tag titles.
I mean, if they're gonna give Jay White a singles push, I'd be fine with Juice and the Guns going after the trios belts. Sure. Personally, well, that time has passed, I guess. But personally, I thought, a week or two ago, whenever that was.
Mm-hmm. It was like 2 weeks ago.
I thought Juice and Jay White should have won the tag titles from the Guns, no doubt.
I agree.
No doubt. I think they're over.
You mean from FTR? You said from the Guns.
Who did I say?
You said from the Guns.
Oh, I'm sorry. From FTR. Juice and Jay should have won them from FTR. They're over, and just they need something to show people that aren't, quote, in the know that they're special, And I think putting the tag belts on Juice and Jay would do that, would show that they are something special. So I think that would be a necessary thing, and I don't know why they didn't just do a title swap on Juice and Jay. Because what they should have done is put them on Juice and Jay for a couple weeks and then have Adam Cole and MJF win this tournament. And then you do Juice and Jay versus Adam Cole and MJF and have MJF and Cole win the tag belts from them. Yeah.
I agree.
Would have been interesting.
Well, it's hard, too, when your group's name is Bullet Club Gold, but you have no gold. Like you don't have any belts.
Or bullets.
Or bullets. Well, they got their invisible handgun bullets, But I feel like if you're called Bullet Club Gold, you gotta get some titles to back up the name.
That's a good count. That's a good call. Yeah. I wonder if they will go after the trios, Robinson and the Guns. I wonder.
It'd be nice to see.
Yeah, they're a good team here. They're a good team.
Do they have someone that's currently going after the House of Black now? That the Acclaimed lost last week?
You would presume all the trios all the trios teams are going after the House of Black. So there's no one team, I would say, is going after them or not. We don't have any angles set up with the House of Black.
That's what I was wondering.
So up next we had Cara Hogan versus Mercedes Martinez. let's see, early on, we had a brain buster by Martinez. Martinez pulled Hogan off the turnbuckle with a neck breaker. It was a nice move. And after getting to her feet, Martinez pokes Hogan in the eye. Always effective, poking your opponent in the eyeball. Martinez puts Hogan in a submission hold eventually, and Hogan taps out. So Martinez picks up the win, and she keeps the hold on, and out comes TBS champion Chris Statlander to make the save, to break the hold. But what ends up happening is Mercedes Martinez hits Statlander with her own belt, the TBS title belt, and leaves Statlander fallen. And next, Willow Nightingale comes down to check on Martinez and to check on Statlander. So we got a couple things set up here for the ladies. What do you have to say about this one, Kay? Oh, and this match I gave 3.5 bones out of 5.
Oh, okay. That's a higher bone rating than I expected. I thought that it did not start off very well.
Yeah.
It started off kind of slow and kind of clunky. Martinez is kind of inconsistent with her selling, and I couldn't, like, it was to the point where I couldn't tell if it was like her intentionally no-selling some moves to like make herself look tougher, or if she was just bad at selling. Mm-hmm. But that stood out, especially the first half of the match. I feel like the second half of the match, everyone improved drastically. So I don't know if they were just a little nervous at the beginning or needed to get warmed up or something, but I thought the second half of the match was really good. Martinez got control early on and never really lost it. I love a good eye poke. Anytime a heel wrestler does something heelish while in the ring, I am always a big fan of that. I think if you're going to be a heel outside the ring, you better be one in the ring too. And she proved that was the case with her. And I'm very excited that they're doing something with the women, with a story. Mm-hmm. And they're getting something started.
So we've got, it looks like, Statlander versus Martinez. You got a feud going here. And maybe, kind of sides forming here. With Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Hogan against Martinez.
She'll need to find some friends.
Yeah. I just realized no heel ran down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So and some heels. So, but a new face alliance, I should say, in Statlander, Nightingale, and Martinez. Hogan, thank you.
Yeah, well, Martinez didn't really need any heel friends to run down because she pretty much had control of things. Like, Willow just came out to, like, run her off. She didn't start, like, beating her up or anything, Mm-hmm. So, I feel like she held her own, and then she just jaw-jacked at the camera all the way up the ramp, leaving. I think that'll be a fun feud, Statlander and Martinez.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They both have good personalities that I think will conflict with each other nicely.
So we have some upcoming matches, and actually Hogan and Statlander have a match.
You mean Martinez, don't you?
I do. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep doing that. Martinez and Statlander have a match. I'm sorry. Have a match coming up. Well, I'll get to it in a second here. I have some upcoming matches to tell you about. I'm going to go through these real quick. On AEW Dynamite episode 200 on Wednesday, We have Chris Jericho and Konosuke Takeshita versus Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. We have FTW champion Jack Perry coming face-to-face with former ECW standout Jerry Lynn. We have an Anything Goes triple threat match. Jon Moxley, Penta El Cielo Miedo, and Trent Beretta. That'll probably be the main event. World Tag Team Champions, Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, Aussie Open, defend their belts against Commander and AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo. Looking forward to that match very much.
That should be the main event, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it won't be.
They'll probably start with that, I think.
And also on Dynamite, episode 200, Women's World Champion Toni Storm puts her belt on the line against Hikaru Shida. Sounds like an awesome fucking show.
That also might be the main event. When you have like multiple matches that you can't decide what's going to be the main event, that's how you know it's going to be a really good show.
I think it's going to be Moxley versus Penta versus Trent.
I'm
wrong.
I'm going to say I think it's going to be the women.
Could be the women, though. Could be the women. We have some matches for next week's Collision. The real, quote-unquote, real world title match. CM Punk puts his belt on the line against Ricky Starks. The TBS title match. Chris Statlander puts her belt on the line against Mercedes Martinez. Tag title match. Either FTR or MJF and Adam Cole will face Brian Cage and Big Bill. And that is what we have for next week on Collision. So that's a good start for Collision.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that Big Bill and Brian Cage won the Royal, not Royal, what was it?
It was a tag team battle
Royal Rattle. Thank you. On Rampage. And so that's why they're next in line for the tag title shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an entertaining battle royal.
It was, yeah.
I thought so. I like battle royals. Some people hate them because they feel like they're all the same. But I like seeing who gets to stay in, who gets eliminated. It's so fun at the beginning. Everybody's in there brawling. You got all these colorful characters. Mm-hmm. Some who have no chance of winning. Some who have a chance of winning but may get thrown out early, and you're like, oh man, that's surprising. Mm-hmm. It's always fun to me, you know?
I think too AEW does it well. Like they don't have two people fighting in the ring and everyone else like dead in the corners, you know?
Right.
So
some battle royals, if they suck, they really suck. They can be the shits, as they say.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
Yeah, okay. So are we on to our main events?
We are on to our main event, yeah. I was just checking something to see. Okay. The main event, World Tag Team title match. The champions, FTR, put their belts on the line against World Champion MJF and his partner, Adam Cole. And as you know, MJF and Adam Cole, their popularity has been building week by week here. They are the most over act in the company right now, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Without question.
So, it'd be... A lot of people think they were getting split up on this Collision, which I thought they wouldn't. I definitely thought they shouldn't. But let's see what happens here. FTR wearing down Adam Cole early and keeping him near their corner. FTR are masters of keeping opponents in their corner. MJF gets the fans to start a smash his nuts chant.
I believe it was bash.
Bash his nuts?
Yes.
Okay. So we get several attempts by him to do that. They are all unsuccessful. No nuts get bashed or smashed or crashed or dashed, for that matter.
All true statements.
MJF hits a double DDT after an unsuccessful move attempted by FTR. Cole comes in with a super kick on Harwood, gets a 2 count out of it. MJF hits a tombstone pile driver in the match. He covers Wheeler, gets a 2.99. They almost became the tag champions right there. FTR attempt to double team Adam Cole. There's a Harwood suplex, followed by a Wheeler splash. Harwood covers, gets a 2.9. Another very close to a fall by FTR. MJF and Harwood trade some stiff chops, and then MJF pokes Dax's eyes. I love a good eye poke. Dax hits a slingshot powerbomb on MJF for 2, and the crowd at this point are giving them a fight forever chant. The crowd were very into this match. MJF hits Shattered Dreams on Dax, where you have a man spread eagle in the corner with his legs on either side of the ropes, and then you come running and kick him in the nuts as hard as you can. Shattered Dreams. That was a Gold Dust specialty move. And after the Shattered Dreams, you get a 2.99 count. Now let me explain something. If you're going to let people do that move during a match, which usually I think that should garner a disqualification, number one. Number two, if you're going to let people use that move in a match, that should be it. It's over. There's not a 2.99. If someone gets kicked with a wrestling boot as hard as they can in the nutsack, that shit is over.
But he didn't. He kicked the bottom of the turnbuckle in which Dax's crotch was sitting on top of.
Yeah.
So he kicked the turnbuckle into it. He didn't kick him directly in the nuts.
Yeah, but that's because it's fake. That's because it's fake, and they can't let him kick him in the nuts.
No, but I think he intentionally made it clear that he was kicking the turnbuckle, not him in the nuts. Because then it's not a disqualification, right?
You don't think it was just a poor attempt?
No, I think it was intentional.
I don't think so. I think it was just a poor attempt at it.
Oh, I thought it was definitely intentional.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Interesting.
But yeah, we get a fight forever chant. Cole super kicks Wheeler. Cole runs the ropes, and he's looking to hit the boom. Wheeler pops up with a European uppercut, and then FTR attempt unsuccessfully to hit the Shatter Machine. FTR, I don't know what it was. It looked, I'm not sure whether it was actually botched or whether it was just planned.
Well, but that's on MJF. What happened first was MJF, they were going to hit the Shatter Machine on Cole. MJF pushes Cole out of the way to keep him from getting the Shatter Machine hit on him. Mm-hmm. And so then Dax instead picks up MJF for the Shatter Machine. Mm-hmm. And so I think it might be the changing of the partners of who it was gonna get hit on that caused it to get messed up, because those guys are different heights,
Yeah, but they knew who they were gonna do it on.
Well, I know, but I meant for the story purpose.
Yeah. Mm.
You think it was an accidental botch?
I don't know why you would do a purposeful botch on the end of such a big match.
That's true, especially when that's who you're trying to pin.
Yeah, but they I don't know. They didn't execute it. It didn't look like they executed it. But whatever. They then pin MJF, and they got the pin and the win. So it was kind of an anticlimactic ending to a very good match.
Well, MJF seemed like he tried to save it, because what happened when Cash came down to do the double knee move? He came down, but he came down without MJF, and so he landed on the ground. But MJF kind of stumbled and caught himself, and so then he rolled Cash up into between the ropes, and that's when Dax got him from behind and rolled him up for the pin. Mm-hmm. So I think he tried to make it look like something was about to happen before, so it didn't go straight from a botched move into the pin. But it was definitely an awkward ending. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so FTR retained the belts. This one I gave 4 bones out of 5. It was very good. It was not the barn burner I was expecting, but it was a very good match. So I'm not complaining. Don't take that as complaining. I expected like greatness, and we didn't really get that. But it was a very good match, though.
I mean, I think it's hard too because like FTR's wasn't the last match they had the 2 out of 3 falls match.
I think so, and that was
like,
great.
That was like unbelievable. So it's a hard act to follow, you know.
Yeah.
Because I think you're setting yourself up for people to expect your matches to be at that level all the time, which no one can do that, you know.
There was just this match had a lot of spots that didn't involve wrestling. You know, had a lot of I'm going to do this strut now.
Oh, I see.
And I'm going to do this now, and it took away the pace from the match. Yeah. And it took the storytelling away from the match a bit too. When it was supposed to increase the storytelling of the match, it took it away a bit.
Do you feel that way about MJF getting like the crowd involved and stuff too, or just the like spreading and shit?
Yeah, I feel that way about him. Yeah, because that takes time away, and again takes the pace, just kills the pace dead.
Yeah.
No, it was a fun match. Don't get me wrong. It's fun doing all the crowd stuff and all that. It's fun, but you got to balance with the pace of the match and the story you're telling and how much you want to involve the crowd and all that. You got to balance it. You know, sometimes it can be too much.
Yeah, and you feel like it was in this case?
I feel like it was a little too much of like I said, doing things that weren't wrestling, you know, doing, you know, calling to the crowd, whatever, you know, playing to the crowd, looking to the crowd. You want me to do this move? Yeah. You want me to do that move? Yeah. Do you want this?
Yeah, that's what made me think about it. Was like
just too much of it, and the pace just lulled and lulled and lulled.
Well, like the pointing of him and of MJF and Adam Cole at each other and yelling double clothesline. Like, do that once and your move fails. Okay. Do that twice and your move fails. Okay. Do it 3 times. Like, dude, stop telegraphing what move you're about to do, you know, if you want this to actually succeed. Because they never got their double clothesline.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the crowd interaction, though. I thought that...
I'm not saying I minded it. I'm just saying...
It affected the pace.
It affected the pace of the match, which affected the rating I gave it.
I gotcha.
That's all. It slowed the pace, you know.
You know, one thing about this match that I found surprising, with as many near falls as there were, I expected them to give the win to MJF and Adam Cole.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And I find that upsetting. Do you want to talk about what happens after the match?
After the show went off the air?
No, when the show was still on the air.
Oh. Yeah. So after the match, Adam Cole's back is turned, and MJF is lurking behind him with the world title belt. You know, he's kind of gone, like his brain, they've lost now, and his brain is reverted to primordial MJF mode, and MJF is lurking behind Cole with the world title belt. And the crowd are like, no.
Yeah, he's like holding it like he's about to like run at him and hit him.
Right. And then Adam Cole knows he's back there. And doesn't he say something like...
He's like, do it, just do it.
Yeah, he's
just
like, do what you have to do, Max.
Yeah.
You know? And MJF sets his belt down, and the two men hug it out.
To chants of hug it out.
Yeah, and the fans loved it. The fans go wild. Yeah. So it looks like MJF and Adam Cole still friends. Now, will they just be friends, or will they keep tagging together? That remains the question.
They gotta keep tagging.
For now, they gotta keep tagging together.
Yeah, I think so.
But of course, MJF is the singles champion. So you can't do too much of that shit, you know.
But you can have Adam Cole out there in his corner from now on when he is wrestling singles matches.
Have who? Oh, Adam Cole, yeah.
You know, and aid him in his underhanded ways.
Yeah.
Because Adam Cole did a few underhanded things during this match, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely been brought to the dark side some. Mm-hmm. So now it'll be interesting to see what Roderick Strong's reaction is to all this. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, whenever his evilness, you know, returns and he, you know, whatever, cuts off one of Adam Cole's legs or whatever he's going to do, Roderick Strong, I think, is going to be right there with MJF, you know.
Oh, as like a bad guy?
As a bad guy. It's going to be like, I told you, Adam.
And so so because he's like, I told you so, he's going to join forces with the evil thing he was trying to warn him about? Mm-hmm. I disagree. That doesn't make any sense. Why would he do that? If he's like, MJF is so evil, I can't believe you're hanging out with him. And then when MJF proves he's evil, he's like, well, I guess I'll hang out with him now too because you were so dumb. That's what you think is going to happen?
Evil stuff, getting the dumb baby face, yeah.
I love when you refer to the dumb baby face.
Yeah. That's how wrestling goes around a lot of times, yeah.
So overall, your thoughts on this collision? I feel like this is the best one they've done.
This
so
is
far.
the best collision that they've done, yes. No question. Yeah, very good show. Got 0 matches made for Wembley. 0. We did get some made for Collision and for Dynamite this coming week, so that was cool. And as for Wembley, there are a couple matches that are looking like they're happening based on what I've read, and I'll share that with you just real quick. So for All In August 27th in London, the world title match, from what I've read, is going to be MJF versus Adam Cole.
And these are the rumors.
Well, these are rumors from very reliable sources.
I know. I just wanted to emphasize that these
it's
weren't
not like
official.
It's not like Bob's page.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
From the internet. I'm taking. This is my aggregation of rumors from a couple different places that are very reliable.
Okay, but I still wanted to emphasize these aren't official.
These are not official, yes. But this is just what it's looking like. The building blocks. MJF versus Adam Cole for the world title. So whether they're friends and still, which, you know, MJF told Cole he's going to give him a title shot. Whether they're friends still or allies by then, or enemies by then, remains to be seen. But that looks like that'll be the title match. Also, we've got, you know, everybody wants Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. I'm reading that's not what we're getting. We are getting Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho.
That sucks. That fucking sucks.
It sucks if you wanted Kenny Omega.
Yeah, which I did, because of course everyone did.
I hear you.
Like, you have Kenny Omega, you have Will Ospreay. Why not make that happen?
And then there's one more match that I've heard, and that is International Champion Orange Cassidy defending his belt against Jon Moxley. And you gotta believe Moxley's winning it, you know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, throw in Toni Storm will be defending her title against someone, and so there's 4 matches. But of course, I haven't heard that opponent.
Or Hikaru Shida if she beats Toni Storm on Dynamite.
But like I said, there's 3 matches there, 1, 2, 3, that I've heard are pretty likely to be happening here.
Well, I hope you're wrong. I'm going to be rooting against you in your gathering of predictions of matches.
Yeah, I said before, if I booked it, it would be MJF versus CM Punk for the world title. And then we would do Jericho versus Sting, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, and I don't know what else, but we would do those matches for sure. We would do Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa also for the women's world title.
I want Jay White versus CM Punk for the real world title. Now that we have a second world title.
I'll do MJF versus CM Punk and unify them.
No, I don't like that idea.
But Punk's just getting started, so I guess maybe not.
Yeah, it's too soon.
Too soon?
Too soon. Yeah, he introduces a new title, and then, within, a month, you've unified
Well,
them?
that would still be... He threw a wrench in my plans by introducing this new world title, so that would have been my fantasy booking, so... But after the show went off the air, the four wrestlers, they enjoyed pizza and tequila in the ring together. So apparently no hard feelings between FTR and MJF and Cole.
Because FTR are faces.
Who knows if this, yeah, they are. Who knows if this is kayfabe, who knows if this is canon, that FTR and Cole and MJF all got along. Who knows if that's canon? It happened in an AEW ring, so I'm gonna say it's canon that they all were getting along and eating pizza and having tequila, because they were all dressed like their wrestling characters still, and they were in an AEW ring, so I think it counts. But they were not on television, so.
I haven't heard the term canon used in regards to wrestling before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because most people don't take it as seriously as we do.
Oh, I see.
I'm looking real quick. What are your last thoughts on this episode of Collision?
Honestly, when I saw the lineup, I was worried about the women's match.
Yeah, but it was fun.
But it was fine. Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. I was worried that the women's match was going to bring down what was looking like was going to be an amazing show, just because I haven't seen... I don't think I've seen... Is it Kira or Kiera?
I thought it was Kiera.
Kiera? I hadn't seen Cara Hogan before, I don't think. And I'd only seen Mercedes Martinez, I think, twice. And I know she's a former Ring of Honor women's champion, but I don't know how long ago that was, and so I was just a little weary of this match. But it was pretty good, and so it did not bring down the whole show, so that's good. I felt like the show had a good flow to it. I liked that they started off with a ladder match, which that was your match of the night, wasn't it? Did you mention that?
Oh, I did not mention a match of the night, but the ladder match, 4.5 bones, no other match ranked that high. The ladder match was my match of the night, yes.
Yeah, my only real complaint about the show is what they did to Gravity.
Exactly.
And the fact that we're getting a squash match at all.
Right. Yeah, your ratings... the ratings are good, I mean, they're not through the roof, but their ratings, they're among the top-rated shows on Saturdays. So I don't know, some people, anti-AEW people say this and that, they're not over 1 million. It's like, well, dude, look at the cable numbers. Fucking nothing is. What do you want? People, you can't get people who aren't watching TV. They can't be in the numbers because they aren't watching TV. It's like, how do you think this works? Anyways, but the numbers are fine, the rating numbers. But my point being, if you want to get them up,
stop having squash matches?
Maybe don't have squash matches. Because, if I tuned in and I saw that Miro and Gravity, that squash match.
Samoa Joe.
God, I keep saying Miro. That Samoa Joe and Gravity squash match, I would tune out. I would tune out. Because if that's the wrestling, if that's the level of competition, is one dude beating another dude in, 3.5, 4 minutes.
I don't think it was that long even.
I ain't got time to watch that.
Yeah.
Show me some competitive wrestling, like every other match on the card, and that maybe will keep my attention on television if I'm just flipping through the channels or just a casual wrestling fan. But yeah, in 2023, I would keep squash matches seldom used.
And they have one every week. I mean,
they seem to on Collision.
They have.
Yeah.
1 week they had two. And I think you keep calling Samoa Joe Miro because normally it's Miro that has the squash matches.
That is why, yeah. Normally Miro has the squash match on Collision, so I keep calling Samoa Joe this week. I keep calling Samoa Joe Miro because normally we're talking about a Miro squash match. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, my one real gripe is that the only one women's match,
our eternal gripe.
Yeah. And, there should be 2 women's matches. And they did my boy Gravity dirty. They, that he should not be getting squashed. If you want people to get squashed, you got people to get squashed.
Yeah.
Don't do that to Gravity, who has a cool gimmick and is a talented wrestler. There's no need to do that to him.
And this is his second time ever on AEW.
Did they do it just because they wanted Joe to do that?
The slow motion.
The slow motion thing?
That's very possible.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they did to Gravity was fucked up. What was the high point of the week? Probably when Andrade pushed Julia Hart off the ladder. She was up there. She was shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, with adrenaline when she was about to go off.
Yeah, her hands were shaking.
Yeah, it was...
I don't blame her. I just being that high up on a ladder.
I would have pissed myself. Yeah. I would have pissed myself.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah. Knowing I was getting ready to take a back first, I can't see where I'm going, bump into a human, into a table.
That's some trust on Buddy Matthews,
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's good.
But it went well, went fine. Yeah. Went fine, thankfully.
Plus, if you're going to have a safety net, he's a pretty good safety net to have, you know what I mean?
Dear. Well, that's going to do it for us, folks. You can hear us, let me think, Sunday.
That's today.
That is today. The day we were recording this, Sunday the 30th, we're doing on Last Week in Wrestling on his Twitter and on his YouTube channel at whenever it starts, 7, 8, whatever. We're doing an NXT watch-along for the NXT Great American Bash tonight. Should be weird. Should be a weird pay-per-view. They got some weird characters over on NXT. I just watched it twice the last 2 weeks, and it's odd. It's an odd show. Somebody needs to check Shawn Michaels for some, I don't know, something. Whoever's writing that show has something wrong with them. So, anyways, but we're going to be on a watch-along for NXT Great American Bash tonight, Sunday the 30th. And you will next hear from us in podcast form on Thursday. We do our Dynamite.
You'll hear from us sooner than that because we're going to a independent wrestling show.
Oh, yeah, you'll hear from us sooner than that. I'm sorry. Later today, we're going to an independent wrestling show. So you will hear from us sometime very soon. I can't be certain of the date, but very soon we will put up an episode. It's a company called AML Wrestling. AML stands for America's Most Liked Wrestling. Yes, I know the name is weird. But it's a good wrestling here in North Carolina. Good indie wrestling promotion. And we're going to it, and we're going to do a podcast episode on it. Should be up in the next several days. So that'll be up.
Then Thursday.
We'll continue to do our YouTube stuff. And then on Thursday, of course, our AEW Dynamite show as usual. I think on Wednesday or Thursday, Also, we will have our SummerSlam prediction show. So, busy week. We're going to have several shows coming out. So, the way that you can catch them all is to subscribe wherever you are, wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and you won't miss one. Because we got, as I said, we've got this show you're listening to now. We've got AML independent show coming out. We've got Dynamite on Thursday coming out and the SummerSlam preview coming out. So we've got several shows this week. So if you enjoy us, you're going to enjoy this week. We've got a lot of content coming. Also, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate us. Rate us. Give us 5 bones, give us 5 stars, give us whatever. The highest you can give us, please. That's how we find new listeners, and we would really appreciate it. So thank you for listening, and as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day. Bye.